So as you guys already know, this is Talk That Fashion Shit. And I am honored and pleased, and I'm a big fan, so I'm geek right now to have this beautiful lady jump aboard my platform to give me a chance to ask her about the industry, to for her to just to share her knowledge, to share her wisdom. Is truly a blessing. So I don't want to butcher your name, Calyann.
Yep, you got it. California, Cali, and
That's dope. I like it. I'm a West Coast born and raised. Family's from Belize, but I was born and raised out here. So I love it. You know, I just want to throw up the West Side right now. So this platform is, like I said, it's Talk That Fashion Shit, but it's not about talking bad about anybody. It's not talking about embarrassing anybody that you worked with over the years. It's really Talk That Fashion Shit is really enlightening and sharing your role with someone that's looking forward to like joining this business, joining this industry, a younger woman that is following you and maybe finding it hard to, contact you and want to like have these questions with you, but maybe they'll see this video and feel more comfortable about the road that they're taking upon themselves and jumping in this industry. So I'm gonna stop doing all the talking, and I want to let you have the floor. So I just want to know, like, what brought you into this industry? What made you say this is what I want to do with my life?
well, I mean, when I first went into college, like I went to college to be an accountant. I wanted to work for the FBI in the accounting division. So,
Okay.
yeah, I know, right? And I think it's like 18, like, I was just like, wait a second, I don't want to work for the FBI. What am I talking about? So I decided, you know what, I'm going to graduate from school. I switched to business administration with a minor in criminal justice, graduated at 20 with my bachelor's, and I decided I was moving to New York. All my friends were still in college because I graduated really early. But I was like, I'm going to move to New York. I'm going to go to FIT because I want to be a buyer. And when I like now everyone knows what stylist is. Back when I was growing up and in Miami, like the stylist was not a thing. Like we had no idea what that was. So the only jobs that you knew were a designer or buyer. And I can't draw a straight line. I can't cut a straight line. And there was not computer technology to help me, put it all together. So I was like, buyer it is. And I went to FIT and I also worked this job. And I was just like, ew, buying is like accounting, just with clothing. Boring. So in school, like I did a photo styling class where we did every single job that there was in a photo shoot. So we were the photographer, the production, the stylist. And I was like, ooh, what is this? It's like being a designer, but you don't have to know how to draw or sew. And you get to work with like clothes, which I loved. Like my whole life, I've always loved clothing. So, I was like, okay, I'm going to be a stylist. So I set off to becoming a stylist. And I mean, just like now, now it's a lot easier because there's DMs. You can DM somebody. You can go on, internet and just like look for, and there's thousands of stylists out there, right? I had no idea. So I kind of stumbled around. And then I met a photographer who introduced me to the agency that I interned with. And so, from there I interned then, and when I'm talking about intern, like it was every day, all I was going to school, I was bartending and interning. So I interned for 4 months and then became an assisted for a year, and then became a stylist. So, this is what I love. So that's what I did.
So, I mean, you touch on something that's very, very important, and that's the grind. I hear that, like your dedication, your hard work, the road that you had to take to be where you're at now. Um, do you feel, or do you still see that now for other people that are trying to jump in this industry that they're are able to do a lot of internship, or is it internships available for them?
There are always internships, and I know myself as well as all the other stylists that I work with are like, yo, where the interns at? Because when I was interning, there were like several other interns. And when I, like, as a stylist throughout my career, I've had, anywhere from 1 to 5 interns like competing for that assistant job. But now everyone thinks like, they put together a look on the gram and get 10 likes and they're like, I'm a stylist. Or, they dress their cousin, mommy, auntie, sister, brother, and they're a stylist. And it's like, no. Being a stylist, like, and this is, the two fields are so different, but I like to say being a stylist is like being a blacksmith. You need to apprentice and then you become, and you can't call yourself a stylist until that is your bread and butter. So if you are still, working at, pick a place anywhere, then you're not a stylist. Like, you are trying to be a stylist. If you are contacting me and saying like, hey, I'm a stylist, but I want to ask you some questions. It's like, no. That's what you do when you're interning and assisting. That's like when you get that information.
Okay.
Like that grind, that hunger, that like, those 10-hour, 12-hour, 14-hour, 38-hour days. This new generation, I don't think they got it. Like, no, seriously. I'm like, they're like, hey, are we done yet? No, because if we're done, we'd be done. But like, so like, there's so much like more grind that needs to go into it. And I feel like that is what determines your longevity, because this is a job where, you could get chewed up, spit out, and then, you're back working whatever you were working before, because you're not putting in the grind. You're not building the relationships you need to build. You're not, treating people the way you're supposed to treat them. It's even like product, like the treatment of other people's clothing, like that matters. Like, if they let you borrow something, return it in the correct manner. So there's like, that's all the things that you learn when you intern and you assist and you learn the rules and the procedures. So I think that is the first step. Like, if you want to get into this field, if you want to be if you want to be anything in the fashion field, you have to intern. Like, I would like throw school away. I was lucky, like I found styling in school, but if you want to do styling, like, intern, like just find someone and be there. Like, show up. If you say you're gonna be there, be there.
You definitely you beating me to the punches, and you definitely talking that fashion shit, and I love it. Because I was gonna ask you that, like, because I know I didn't go to school. Everything was self-taught. Mm-hmm. Not that I didn't want to go to school. I just, in LA, it was just hard finding the right facility for me, especially when I was working like 2 to 3 jobs. Mm-hmm. So I just like really just started going in and like taking clothes apart and looking at YouTube tutorials and trying to put this stuff back together. But saying, like you said, being a stylist, you don't really have to go to school. But do you feel like school and interning should help you at the same time? Or
I mean, this is my stance on school. School is great, like, especially if you're doing a field that requires school. My schooling was great because I did business administration. So there are some business skills that I learned while in school. So if anything, I would say, get a business degree. Don't, go and get a styling degree, because that you can learn while you're styling. Like, you can learn that while you're interning under somebody, and you could cut out spending all of that money and, potentially being in debt when you come out of school for something that you can learn from somebody else. And if you already have like, a business mind, then go ahead. And if you don't, and you don't want to go to school, then you find a business partner or you find an agent that can handle all that stuff. But the business side of being a stylist is about 90% of the job. Like shopping and styling is about 10% of the job. If you got to turn in receipts, you got to log them right. You have to make sure that you're actually turning in those receipts and logging them, because you need to get paid to, pay off your credit card so you can do your next job. And make sure that you're doing it in the correct, time, so that you get your money in the correct time and you're not incurring. And I'm saying these things because these are all mistakes that even with a business degree I made, because I'm like, oh, these receipts, who want to do these receipts? And you stuff them in your bag and you stuff them in your bag, and then before you know it, you're like a bunch of balled up receipts, and you're like, wait, I gotta look through all of this and figure out which client was which. And the good, like me, I can remember a receipt. Like I can look at it and be like, okay, that was this. Most people don't have that ability. So it's like, try to be organized, have a folder that you put your receipts in for your client, or write the name, or you know what, technology nowadays, you can scan it right there on the spot and put it in your phone, and you don't have to worry about losing it, because if you lose it, you already got it in your phone, So, or email the receipt. Like, now they give you the option to email receipts everywhere. So it's like, use your tools.
Speaking of tools, Instagram. I know we touched on that a little bit. So do you feel like that's the best way to create your portfolio, or do you believe you should have an actual portfolio being a stylist?
It's always good to have an actual portfolio, because anyone can have an Instagram. Like it shows, it takes no effort to have an Instagram. Everyone can have one. But a portfolio means that you had to organize and you take the time to build something out. And it doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can be, but it's the organization of your actual images. I'm terrible at it. I'm just lucky enough to be already here, so I don't have to be concerned with it that much. But no, it makes a difference. And I see, sometimes I look at it, I'm like, wow, that looks so great when people show me all the work that they've done. And I'm like, I did some cool stuff, but I don't know where the pictures are. You get more, the more work though. The portfolio and Instagram go hand in hand, because people, I've gotten jobs from Instagram, or people, first thing I check when somebody even, wants to intern with me is their Instagram. Cause I want to see what's going on in your Instagram. Cause everyone puts everything on their Instagram these days. So, you see the pictures and you see who's working these jobs, because they're putting their images on Instagram. So it's it goes hand in hand.
I want to definitely ask this question. For women, exactly. I want to touch on the industry. For a woman that's really professional, really about her business, and really trying to mark a name for herself in this industry, how would she need to maneuver within the bullshit to make sure that nobody's trying to take advantage of it?
Well, I think first of all, you have to be knowledgeable in your craft. If you are knowledgeable and secure in your craft, then it's hard for somebody to take advantage of you, because you're steadfast in, what you believe, what your abilities and what you're qualified to do. You can speak on what you do. So I think that's first and foremost. You can get taken advantage of if you're, trying to fake it till you make it, or out, just misrepresenting yourself. So I would say, know your craft. And then do your research. I've had people who've come into an interview with me and not know that I work with Dwyane Wade. That's the easiest one. I'm not telling you to know, when I used to style Ja Rule, back in the day, or Shaggy is my first client. No, you don't need to know that, but so it's do your research. So whoever you're meeting with, whoever you're talking with, make sure that you know what they've done. And because people talk a lot, and they build up their credentials. And if you don't check that, then how do you know? I could tell you I dressed anybody, and I've actually, it's so funny because this generation is funny. There was this girl, I met her and she was like, oh yeah, no, I'm a stylist. And I'm like, okay, cool. Oh, really? And she's like, yeah, I work at the Webster. And I was like, Okay, so your sales associate, but and not that they're not like, because there's some stylists, there's some, but like, okay. And then she was like, yeah, and I also do photography. I was like, oh, let me see. She's like, I shot this person, this person. And so she pulls it out and it's like Polaroids from the club. But had she not pulled them out when she was like, I shot Winnie Harlow, I shot this person, I'm like, oh, that's so amazing. But if you don't check or see somebody's references, then they could just be full of crap. And then let me see, what would be another one that you know, you're like, back to business, like know your business, know it, when you intern, when you assist, you should be getting the tools and you should be learning like what you charge, what's not right to charge. People go out there and they make up their own prices. And even if you go online, like what a personal stylist for a regular, 9 to 5 mom that just decides that, or 9 to 5 working mom that decides that she wants somebody to come in and put together some suits is completely different from what you charge, an athlete, or what you charge a movie star, or what you charge for just one event. So it's like when you're working with when you're interning, like, and assisting, you learn these things. So make sure that one, you don't burn the bridge with the person you're working under so that you can come to them. Like, it's good to have mentors and it's good to have friends in the industry that, that are doing the same thing. I was lucky enough to come up with Kalila Beavers, who like, she works with Mello, Jimmy Butler. Like, we came up together. Like, first she trained me, I interned under her, and then we like assisted together, and then we became stylists together. So, I always have somebody that I can come to and say like, hey, what do you think about this, and bounce ideas off of them. But, I also have tons of friends in the industry that I can also go to them because, like I said, it's important to maintain those relationships that you have. So at any given time, you can ask a question, and then also expand your relationships. All your friends and mentors, they don't need to be in the fashion space. Like, you should have some business friends. You should have some doctor, lawyer friends. Like, make sure that you have a wealth of resources that you can call on, because you will need those things. You will need a good lawyer to do a contract or to look over a contract. Right now you will need to go get COVID tests. So like, who's going to give you that? Where can you go at 4 a.m. because you got this job at 10 a.m. and you need a rapid PCR test. So it's like, just, be resourceful, get all your contacts, together. Bring treats to people in stores, like the salespeople that you deal with, because they really enjoy that. Like, most times people are just there, like, just, get this, get that. And they're like, oh, well, they're working for, no, bring them treats. Like, they love it. And they'll do anything for you. Like, when you call them and you're like, I know the store is closing, but I'll be there in 45 minutes. Or can you come drop this to they'll do it because you appreciated them. So they appreciate you. Sorry, that was a lot.
Nah, not at all. This is what I've been asking for. This is what I want, and it's dope that you're giving it all. And I know, and I hope at the same time that whoever's looking at this is really gonna pay attention and really jog down all this information that you're giving them. Because I'm telling you, when I came up in this industry, it wasn't really a lot of people that I can reach out to and really speak with and really have these conversations. So this was the reason why I created this. This is not for me. It's really for someone that was like me and was like trying to figure all this out. And I hope these videos really, give that click and really help someone. So, sorry. My next question for you was like, if moment. Did you ever have an if moment? Like, when you just when you started, or even now, even during the COVID, did that hit you with an if moment? Like, how can I?
I mean, this is not all easy and fun and games and champagne and caviar and parties in Paris. Like, it's hard. It's like when you're really working, it's hard. And it's funny, I posted something on, it was for Dwyane's birthday. I actually posted about just like how great he was, and my friend hit me that when I started in the industry, like, he worked at a record label, and he was like, do you remember when you were in my office and you weren't sure if you wanted to work with him and if you wanted to put in the time that it would take to like build an image and if you would get paid properly? And I was like, really? Like, so now like 14 years later, I'm like, wait, I was doubting if I should work with Dwyane Wade. That's just weird. But like, so, and sometimes it's like, it's I knew the work and I work a lot. And to even, see where the NBA is now, that didn't just happen overnight. And that wasn't, these guys like, oh, we want to, wear fashion now. No, it was like me, it was Kalila, it was Rachel, it was like, there was a Courtney, it was a group of stylists that we're working with these brands, telling them like, hey guys, like there are like these basketball players are superstars, like, make clothes in their size, like cater to them. And, they have the money and the contracts, like build it and they'll come, because there wasn't a size 14 shoe. There wasn't a size 15 shoe. You couldn't go get a 50 in Saint Laurent. There was the largest jacket size you could get is probably a 52. Like, no, seriously.
I barely get fit that.
Exactly. Like I have one of the first pairs of shoes that I got Dwayne from Saint Laurent, and it was a size 45. He's a 47. Like, I don't even know how he wore those, but it's like, that's what we were dealing with. So the idea of running into a store, like going online, what's online? You mean the boxes come to you and then you put a label and you ship them back out? What? No, New York City, big bags like this, like taking the subway, because guess what? My boss wasn't paying for me to take a taxi, and there was an Uber. Like, so it's funny when like you hear, this new generation complaining. I'm like, no. Have you ever tried to take the A line with a duffel bag for returns?
Right.
Like,
I went to New York and it was so hard. But it's funny, like they said, the people are not helpful in New York, but they were so helpful to me.
people are helpful. I honestly, like, people are about people are moving along and they're about their business. So it seems like they're not friendly, but no one's friendly when they're moving about their business. But if you ask for help, then usually, someone's there to help you.
I definitely reached out, but I want to say this face to face. I definitely thank you for the opportunity that you gave me for Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, no, of course. I mean, when you make dope product, like I'm all about it, like, and especially like I'm, all about supporting us. Like, now is the time I've been on that, like, like us, like we have dope designers. We have, all of the talent that others have been, capitalizing off of. So it's time for us to support each other. Like I've been in this industry for 15 years now. I have wasted way too much money on designer, and not saying that I don't buy it or wear it or anything, but I prefer to promote and, spend money with the brands who are, who one look like me, but know the struggle that it is to be in this industry, because it's not easy. Like, you're not getting, just, it's like, oh, everything handed to you, or you have a Black client. It's hard to get them dressed in anything, like, until, deems them that they're like, they're on. And then of course, then they want them. But most of the times they're not trying to, check for us. So it's like, why are we checking for other brands or begging to be in those brands when, look, there's so many Black brands that are dope. So that's like, I have a rule of thumb. Like, one, if you say no to dressing my client 3 times, like, I'm done. Like, we ain't spending no money in there. And then 2, if you're not trying to like support, or I'm not like the cause, or I'm not seeing you actively doing something to, to further the agenda of like, uplifting those who have been just ignored and been taken advantage of, and you know, their talents, and not giving credit where credit is due, because that's what you see a lot. It's funny. You know, I love Dior, but that Dior sweater, the yellow one with, you know, the, you know what I'm talking about. So I find it funny that it's like all of these celebrities are wearing it now, and people are wearing it. And I'm like, would you have worn it if it wasn't Dior? And so it takes a white brand to put a black face on something that costs $3,400, some
Yeah.
astronomical price
Yeah.
for you to wear it. So you paying a lot of money to put your cousin face on your sweater. I don't get that, but I appreciate Dior for now finally putting other people on there, because for so long it was like only white people on there. I was like, I can't put that white face on my like client. Like, I'm not putting, you know, and so it's great that we have an option, but it's also like, we also have options within our community. And by no means, like I said, am I like, nope, not using any of them, it's all about us. No, but it's making sure that we are equally, or, you know, that we are sourcing and looking for people within our community to, you know, spend money with. And it's not just like getting free stuff. It's also like spending money with, like, you know, okay, cool. Like, you know, okay, I'll buy it. Like, cool. You know, because the big brands, they have the budget to do that stuff. Smaller brands, like, you know, it's money. It is overhead, production, materials, like, it's money. And the better the quality, the more money it is. And I've actually found, like, you know, I look at, and I don't mind like saying brands, but like Vetma, like, y'all selling Champion hoodies, y'all putting some zippers on Levi's and charging $1,000. Cut it out.
I think that every time.
Yeah, and it looks like a arts and crafts project. Like, I'm like, come on, man, come on. And just because it has a name on it, like,
yeah,
stop walking around with all these logos.
I was, my favorite show that's on Netflix right now is the Remix, Hip Hop and Fashion.
I
watch that yet, but yeah, it's about the industry, what we're talking about right now, the fashion industry with Dapper Dan and a lot of the influencers of the 90s and 2000s and stuff like that, and how one particular topic that stuck to me that made me think about this for our conversation was stylists, when they're dealing with a clientele of someone they've been working with for a long time. And then once they get them to that platform where other big brands start looking at them, then it seems like the bigger brands start to try to push the stylists out of the way, only use who they have in there. How do you feel about that?
I mean, that's how it is. I mean, that's how we are as like, it drives me insane when you see that, you know, someone, when they're now starting, the only person that's willing to work with you is, you know, the Black stylist. And then the second you get on, but that's across the board with, you know, business managers, with PR, with, you know, lawyers, attorneys, agents. Like, that is just what it is. It's like, you're good when I'm not good enough, but as soon as I'm good enough, then you're not good enough. And I think that comes from, you know, a lot of like just us not having that self-value, and needing validation from outside to see ourselves as being worthy. And I think that's what we need to correct and change, and, you know, educate ourselves and take the time to be like, no, we are amazing. We are awesome. Like, you know, like, Black excellence is the standard. It's not the new norm. Like, that's what we are. We've thrived and we're creative and we're loud and passionate and, you know, just everything we do is just like exudes, you know, just who we are, our culture, the way we dance, the way it's like, why are we giving that to somebody else to represent?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, but then it's also, I see both sides, because sometimes I'm like, come on, us. Like, gave you a chance and you let me down. All right, I got to go to the next, like, come back. Like, so it's also like, hey, when we're given an opportunity, you know, do what you say you're going to do. Like, show up, do the best job that you can do. And that's what goes back to knowing your craft. So when you are called to do something, you can show up to the best of your ability. And of course, there are, you know, every single, you know, there is just the world going against you, and it's hard because you got to keep pushing forward all the no's, like the no's that you will get from showrooms. But I mean, I think this is the best example. Beyonce, talk about like the globe, when nobody would dress her and her mama had to make outfits for her.
Yeah.
Like, what? Because like, hello. But that's what they did. And I wish that she would have continued doing that, so that, you know, I don't need y'all.
Yeah.
I don't. You know, I went to Ghana a couple weeks ago, and I met some fashion designers there, and I'm just like, the craftsmanship and the tailoring. I got measured and I had my stuff back in like 2 days. So it's like the talent is there, like the lace work and they do like this draping technique on their like dress.
Advanced out there.
It's just like this. You can't tell me that this isn't couture, you know? So it's like, if we have that, why don't we, you know, embrace it more? Like, because if you took it from, you know, said African designer, I'm gonna say you took it from Christy Brown and then you put it on Valentino, everything, you know, and it's like, I mean, we see it just even in the prints and pattern and beadwork that they use. Like, it's inspired from African history.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and so it's like, okay, let's own a little bit of our own.
Exactly. I'm loving this. Thank you very much. I always like to end my segment with this, and because every day when I wake up, I try to live by this every moment. And law of attraction, how does that fit in your realm?
Oh, the universe will conspire to make everything happen for you if you are thinking it, if you are believing it, if you are doing it. Like, you know, I like to think our thoughts it's a currency that we pay for our lives in. So, you know, if whatever you think, like that's what you're paying for, like with your thoughts. And stay positive. You know, and actually, like, think about what you want. Not only think about it, write it down. Tell it to somebody who you know wants it for you. And I feel like the universe, you know, brings it to you. I have these situations all the time where, you know, I'm like I'm thinking about something. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, you know, I'm actively working on what I'm trying to build. And everything it's like just getting dropped in my plate. And I'm like, and then I'll, like, you know, get distracted and, you know, go on a 3-day vacation. And I realize, like, the communication is not the same, or, you know, something that then it fell through or something. I'm like, because I stopped paying attention. I got that. So it's like, yeah, pay attention. Like put what you want out there, and, you know, and do the actions to get it, because it's not just gonna come, you know, it's not just gonna land on your lap. You actually have to put like action behind the intent.
Definitely, definitely. I did some items called leaders for the Wellness Month. I shouted out everyone plus you, and it's a leader shirt that I want to create for you. So I want you to send me a picture that you like, and I want to put it on the shirt for you.
Okay, will do.
Look at my website to get a chance to GarrCee collection.
Okay.
And you can see the leader shirts on there. And that's the way, because it's gonna go beautiful with your hairstyle.
Thank you.
But is it anything that you want to leave this segment with? Do you have any thoughts that you want to share?
You know? I mean, do I have any thoughts? Clearly, all I got are thoughts. You know, I got lots of them. I'm always thinking. I'm like a drive and silence type of girl, and like all the thoughts in my brain. I got a big old head too. But you know, I would say like stay the course if this is what you want to do. Like, be impeccable to your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Always do your best. Like, you know, it's like you are judged by your best self. So always be your best, because the second you fall below it, people are like, So just keep topping yourself. Like that's what you're not competing with anybody else out there. You're competing with yourself. That's it.
Appreciate that.
Oh, and there's also enough jobs in the world for everybody. So you don't have to be a cutthroat person. Like you can have friends in the industry and you can be happy for them and you can support them and you can really celebrate what they're doing, because it's so great. And the more you celebrate them, the more good things happen to you, and then y'all celebrating together. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, I'm glad you said that, because we need to really emphasize on that, because I don't know where this is coming from, that it's a so small gap for us to go out here and develop and like you said, make money. We all can make money. There's no way where we should be like, gimme. And
we can make money if we make it together.
Yeah.
Like that is why there's been not enough seats at the table, because we were at someone else's table.
Yeah. And then don't be on that bullshit. If you really want to work with someone, work diligently, work together, make it work. Don't be trying to be cutthroat to the people that you say you want to help and really don't want to help, because you're just looking at it for yourself and you're looking at an opportunity. Stop looking for those opportunities and put in the work.
Yeah, just put in the work, and the rest will come. And it's not overnight success. Like, no. You know, because you see on Instagram, people are, you know, they show like they're showing their life. No one really shows the worst part of their life. Like, you don't see in the morning when I wake up and I look crazy until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I might have one sock on. No, that's not the picture I'm posting. But there are those days. Like, there are days where I'm like up for seriously like 36 hours, because like I'm working at my styling job. I have my store that I'm, you know, starting to like launch again. I have a mom and a wife, and then, you know, you still want to, you know, do fun things. And then it's like, oh crap, I didn't sleep, and I may sleep for 18 hours. But that's usually after a few days of like not sleeping like in a row. But it's like, no one sees when I'm still on my computer at 4 or 5 in the morning, you know, sending out those emails, because during the day I wasn't stationary. And so I couldn't send out the emails. I was like moving, you know, when I still go to FedEx and ship stuff like for myself sometimes, because guess what? It has to get out. Like, you're never too big. I will grab coffee for everybody. The other day, there was this lady that I really wanted to talk to, about business. And I was like, look, I will be your Uber driver. Like, where do you need to go? And Mike's like, no, like you're never too big for anything. So just, if you're going to do it, do it.
Okay. I'm going to leave it at that. You going to do it? Do it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. This was awesome. Appreciate you. Bye. Have a great one.
Thank you. Bye.